This episode of Ladder Legacy is proudly sponsored by the Bedford Group Insurance, helping families and businesses protect what matters most. Whether it's coverage for your home, your family, your team, or your future, Bedford's got your back with the best reliable insurance solutions in Florida. Visit our website to learn more, bedfordinsurance.com. And now on to your episode. Hey everybody, this is Rudy Romero from Ladder to Legacy. I am here today with Chef Dahlia from Everlasting Tea Time. She is the executive chef here in the Palm Beaches, providing all types of catering and food services to make your mind happy and your bellies full. And there's one thing that Chef Dahlia loves to say that makes me smile every single time, and I'm going to tee her up right now for it, is she says Everlasting Tea Time is making one bite, one
everlasting memories, one bite at a time.
And this is why you have the professionals do it, you see? So it's excited to have you, Dahlia. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. I love the background. I'm really hungry now. It reminds me of a nice pie that I would love to have to eat today. But I'm being good. I'm watching my figure. So Dahlia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Rudy, for inviting me on this platform. I am doing fantastic, and I'm so happy to be here today speaking with you.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to have you on because, again, I have had no chefs, and I couldn't think of a better person to bring on today to talk about food, talk about passion, talk about what you've done. You are definitely a person who has been multifaceted in the world when it comes to culinary arts, and I've always been intrigued by you, and I think our viewers would be intrigued by the things you've done, the things you've made, and the world you've lived. So tell me, Everlasting Tea Time, do you just do tea? Well, what is Everlasting Tea Time?
Thank you for asking that question. A lot of people get it also confused. So Everlasting Tea Time is a mobile catering company. Tea Time is our name, but we do so much more than tea. Tea is an experience. I'm also a private chef. So tea parties, weddings, corporate events, open houses, meal plans, filling your fridge, or if you're going on a trip, an RV trip, I will fill your refrigerator. So Everlasting Tea Time is more than tea. It's just feeding you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, any special occasion that you have. Everlasting Tea Time would love to be a part of that occasion.
Interesting. So it's a niche. So you must have, did you start with tea times? Is that how you got started? Was more like English or Western style teas? Is that how it started? When you were working with Everlasting Tea Time, or how did you form the business and come up with the name of Everlasting Tea Time? Because you've done a great job for me, folks. She did a tea for me at my my Masonic lodge, and the ladies had an outstanding time. A few gentlemen as well. So tell me more about that.
That's a good question. Thank you so much in asking me where I started. So I started this company while I was working at the Chesterfield Hotel in Palm Beach. So the Chesterfield Palm Beach was a English company, and that's where I started doing tea parties. So I've started doing tea parties, but I didn't finish with tea party. I've had a tea party along the way. Yes, so that's where I got that. And it's an English tea. You asked that. It's a traditional afternoon tea is what I do. So yes, it's an interesting concept of tea parties with finger food.
So is that a big market in the Palm Beaches? I guess my ignorance, because I've only had one, well, I guess technically two official tea parties I've been a part of. But is that something that happens a lot in the Palm Beaches? Is high noon tea or tea times?
Yes, afternoon tea is something that happens a lot. But again, as you say, it's a niche market. Is to find that special area that does tea parties. Yes, it's in the Palm Beaches, but a lot of people don't know that a tea party can come to them. And what I do is that I bring you everything to have a tea party. All the fine china, from the setup to break down servers and everything in between. All you have to do is invite us into your home or any venue of your choice, and we will make it special and make it happen for you.
Oh, that's amazing. So you come essentially from soup to bowls, essentially, right? So everything in between, you're coming in and essentially providing this wonderful service where people can sit down and have this tea. Now, so high noon tea, I'm guessing there's not a lot of per se high noon tea, but events, right? So for a bridal shower or for a Mother's Day event, are these like the biggest events for you when it comes to doing this niche of tea? Or how does it kind of work?
So yes, a lot of people contact us for bridal showers, baby showers and Mother's Day. So that is the biggest part of the tea party business, bridal showers and baby showers right now. I've also done a few sweet 16.
Quinceañeras too.
Yes, and also with the TV drama, well, Bridgerton.
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton is the latest one where more younger people are actually doing that, so they want that type of service. And where else do you get to get that more with that with everlasting tea time? Downton Abbey was what I was trying to tell you. They want that same kind of feel. Where people of our age like that kind of feel, where you sit back, have a cup of tea, and everything changes.
Yeah, it feels
You're
proper.
re-
It feels different, right? To have a cup of
yes.
tea sitting down like that, it feels old school is the wrong word, but it feels like that. Like you are taking a step back to just take a breath in life, is what it seemed like to me.
Yes, just sitting back, and you know what? I learned this word, or it might have been the other word, but intimacy. Once you hold a cup of tea in your hands with fine china, it's like everything changed, and it's like, let's talk. You put the phone away, you turn off social media, and let's be social together. You know what I mean? With a cup of
Oh yeah,
tea.
most definitely. I mean, I felt that way when we had you do our event here, and it was a great time, and everyone said how different it felt because they had just not either done it before ever,
Yes,
and our women deserve to be pampered, and it was great that we were able to do that. So
yes.
you said you don't just do tea times though, so you were talking about RV companies, you were talking about some type of prepared meal plans that you were doing, so you're doing everything. Tell me more about that.
The good thing is that people eat all the time, right? And if you rent an RV, if you rent an RV, you're going to a park or you're driving, let's say from Florida to New York. You don't have to stop at a restaurant or look up a diner on the way, and eat just chips and snack. You will get a chef prepared meal when you rent an RV. You get to speak to me, the chef, and I will talk to you and ask you about dietary restriction. What is it that you need? Your RV come equipped with everything in it, and what I am doing is filling your refrigerator for you, so you don't have to stop and think about what you're getting. So you do get a chef prepared meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack, and you know exactly what you're getting in your food, as if you were cooking it at home.
That's amazing. So, I mean, that's very different than a processed meal from insert big name fast food companies. Are you preparing these meals a couple days in advance so these people are having these fresh meals? How does it work? Because I've heard of these prepared meals online. There are other big name brand companies. But how are you different than them? Because I've tried them before, and I'm not giving them any plugs here because there's some in the Palm Beaches, but they're not on the show, so they're not getting a plug. But I've had them before,
Good.
but they get boring. Like that's been the biggest problem is I get the same thing for an entire month. I feel like I'm being punished almost. How is it different? How do you do it differently?
See, at Everlasting Tea Time with Chef Dahlia, we will become family. So what I would do is that I would call you. You don't even have to call me. I will call you and ask you that, what are your favorite foods? What would you like to have? And also infused with my Jamaican background. So you won't get the same type of food. You will get flavorful food that you will love. And your mouth will thank you for it. Your stomach will thank you for it. So you'll be getting something different, everything tailored to you. And one of my biggest sellers, or one of the things that my repeat customers love, is that homemade granola, fresh homemade granola that you make, that you get with your parfaits and fresh fruits. You ask now how long ahead I prepare those meals, as close as possible to your day. So if you're picking up the following day, I'm making it the day before for you, and fill your refrigerator. So by the time you pick up or get to your Airbnb. I do the same thing for Airbnbs too. By the time you get to your Airbnb, you have fresh food in your refrigerator.
Wow, that's amazing. So, I mean, you're a one-stop shop when it comes to food. So, catering, you talked about that also. So, what type of
hmm
events do you cater, or what's like a niche for you? Is there something specific that you gravitate towards to more, or I mean, it's food, so you can just come up with anything?
You can come up with anything, but the niche or the area that's huge is corporate catering. Corporate catering for companies that feed their employee delicious meals maybe once or twice a week. Instead of going just to the big box store, you're
Mhm.
getting to talk to me. And again, I am going to cater or tailor a menu just for you what the client like, deliver on time, serve, set up. I have full service staff that will set up, serve, and break down. And also another area is meal plans, as you were just talking about. The same thing goes when you do buy from those big box store on the island or local. I'm not sure if you get what you need. With me, you're getting exactly what you need. You won't get the same food that is for Sally. You're going to get food for Rudy. No two people are the
Personalized.
same. I give you personalized service and deliver to you.
Yeah, that's amazing. I can't believe, I mean, especially in like downtown West Palm, I can't believe this hasn't taken off more because, I mean, even when I was in, we call it the Darth Vader building down there for a number of
Hmm.
years off Clematis, I mean, the worst thing was having to leave the office, go to Clematis and go buy a meal that was probably, 15, 16 bucks. And it's just expensive, right? You do that every single day, 5 days a week. You're spending hundreds of dollars a week, not including a dinner, not including breakfast. Pricing wise,
Yes.
I mean, obviously it's not specific, but what is like a range of pricing that typically people would see on the prepared meals? These personalized meals, I should say.
Yes, these personalized meals, no, be interesting to know that it is different from what you're going to get in the store.
Yeah.
So sometimes instead of getting white potatoes, you may get red potatoes. So you're actually getting quality ingredient. Shrimp, salmon, chicken breast, pork tenderloin. So most of our meals, lunch starts at $15 per
Oh,
person.
wow. Okay, that's not so bad.
Not at all. Thank you for saying that.
No, that's not so bad. I mean, you go to McDonald's right now, and a family of four, it costs like 45 or $50 to get a family of four fed for dinner in one meal or for lunch. So, I mean, a home cooked personalized meal without all the preservatives and all the things that go into it that have the reason why
Absolutely.
all of us are on medication or
Yes.
seeing the doctor. I mean, it's a bargain. And I'm sure you buy in bulk, people are doing more work with you. I'm sure there's better options. Again, like everything else, you're a businesswoman. You are there to do business, but also help people. And this is part of that helping.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can order those meals ahead of time so I deliver them to you once a week, however you want it. So it's right there. You don't leave the shopping to me. Think of me as your personal chef. I'm a part of your family, the person you can call on. So leave the shopping to Dahlia. You come home, your refrigerator is full. You don't have to cut, you don't have to wash the dishes. Everything is done by me. The only thing you have to do is open your refrigerator and your meals, your breakfast or snack is right there ready for you to go.
That's I know my wife would really appreciate that. But I'm the cook. I'm the person who cooks at home, to be fair. But I would really appreciate that because after a long day of business, taking the kids to
Yes.
baseball, the scouts, all the other networking things that we get involved with, we don't typically have a lot of time for us, right? And it sounds like
Yes.
not only are you saving time by shopping for people, you're cooking for people. And do you deliver? I guess that's a silly question to ask, but how does it work?
I do deliver to you, and you touch on something that's important. You have a lot on your plate, taking care of the kids, homework from one game to another, because it's so important to spend quality time with your family, isn't it?
That's that's why we all work, right?
Yes, so I'll take that off your plate, and you don't have to worry about what is your daughter going to eat or what is your son going to eat, because ahead of time you already know and it's already taken care of.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So really the question is how did you get into this? How did you open Everlasting Tea Time?
Hmm. Okay. So Everlasting Tea Time, we started without a name. I worked at the Chesterfield Palm Beach for many years, and I love Tea Party. One of the reasons why I love working so much there was that I could serve tea. It's so different. I grew up watching English shows where they're always drinking tea, but I've never known of a place where they serve tea parties. So, as a server, at the end of the day, I would take my cash tips and I would stop at every thrift store on my way home. And then I started expanding. And I would go and pick up china, teapots, and teacups, and I would take it home. By the time I met my husband 6 months later, I have enough pieces, 100 sets of teacups, saucers, teapots, tears. So on our honeymoon, we decided to plan a tea party for a group of ladies in a 55 and over community. And so we started Everlasting Tea Time just by giving back to the community. So on my honeymoon in Mexico, I was planning a tea party for 45 to 50 ladies. I came back, we planned this fabulous tea party with classical music, and we transform a regular space into beautiful event space. And the ladies came in and they were so happy. And what I noticed about that, when they came in and they sit down, it was like they changed. Something about them changed and they love it so much they kept asking us to do it. So I said, you know what? Maybe there's a business here. Even though I'm serving it every day at the Chesterfield Hotel, maybe I could start a business. So out of that, and my love for serving people and sharing what I love, my experiences, because Tea Party is an experience. It is an experience that we give. And that's when Everlasting Tea Time started about 8 years ago.
Wow. So I guess the real question is, do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy what you're doing?
I love it so much. I'm sorry you couldn't tell. I love serving people. I love creating food. I love seeing people enjoy the experience and the food and the tea. People just change. I love having tea by myself. But most of all, I love when I invite people over to have tea with Dahlia. So if I can spread that to other people, it's what I enjoy most, serving and giving that experience back to people. So
So
yes.
where did that come from? That feeling of wanting to serve people? Because that's not normal for most people. Most people don't feel that way. It may be normal for you and me, but the rest of the world, that typically isn't something that happens. So, what got you into that giving or serving mindset that made you want to open this up?
Ah, you're touching my childhood. Okay. I grew up in
Here
a
we
large
go. We
family.
love diving deep. We're gonna go in. Here we go.
I grew up in a huge family in Jamaica.
Okay.
And we always share what we have. We didn't have much, but whatever we have, we share. As the oldest child for my mother of five, we didn't have much. So whatever I had, food wise, whenever we have, I would want to give it to my brothers, my younger brothers and sisters, so they would have. And I always want to have more, not just for me, but to give to them and also the people in the community. And it's the same thing living with my dad. It was a much bigger family. We grew up on a farm. We had much more to give. But I went there seeing the same type of heart where whatever we have, we always give to everyone. There were 10 grandchildren in one
Wow.
home,
Wow.
not counting adults. There were 10 grandchildren, but there were still times when my grandmother, Mama, did not have enough. I've seen her when she gave us the food, didn't have much for herself. And I would hide mine. I would take mine that she gave to me because she made sure we all had enough to eat. And I was like, Mom, Mama, I'm full. I left some for you. I wasn't really full, but I wanted my grandmother to have some of what she gave me, which wasn't much at times. So growing up like that, always knowing what hunger is, but also what serving and sharing is, it's a part of me. And I also think it's one of the gifts that God gave me, hospitality. It's strong in my faith as a Christian that God give us different spiritual gifts. One my gift is hospitality. The gift of giving, and praise God, I have that. So I
Most
think
definitely.
that is definitely the Lord, but as a child, it was fostered. And it's the same way. I don't know if I can tell you this, but I was here working the other day and I got a call from New York. I don't remember this person. She said, Dahlia, do you remember me? And I'm like, no, I don't. She said, I'm Jenny. I'm like, okay, Jenny, that helps. She said, about 10 years ago, when we moved from England, me and my two young girls, we live in the same apartment you live. You gave us so much. She said, you don't know how much you helped me. You gave me so much food and clothing and everything. I don't remember any of that. I do not remember any of those things that I did for her. So, given, I think it comes from a place of where I was. A lot has been given to me, so I give back. And another thing is, I don't want to see people go through what I have been through. I want to make this a better place for other people. And if it's with food and with serving, then I'm so happy to do that.
So your language, in my opinion, here is you're a giver, right? You're giving, and your way of finding that medium is food, right? People's bellies, and that's an amazing thing to do. And I appreciate you sharing that story. I mean, a lot of people come on here, they are sometimes afraid to be honest and give their truth, and it's amazing. That's wonderful to hear, and thank you for sharing that story because it's important. People need to understand, our childhood's such an effect on our future. And to
Yes.
hear you had somebody with such a wonderful role model, from what I'm hearing, that helped shape you as a person, that got you to where you are today. That's part of being a business owner. It's part of being a member of society and a community. And you had a great foundation. It sounds like it's a, like you said, it's a blessing. It's a blessing for whatever faith you or the listeners are listening to. This is the point. This is it right here. That's love right there that she's talking about. And I've tasted it.
Thank
I've had
you.
her food before, especially the spicy mango jam that I have to put a plug in there because I have an unhealthy obsession with it personally. But that's okay. Um, that's really exciting. That's really cool. So let me ask you, you talk about having this food with your grandmother, having 10 different grandchildren in the house. Is this stateside, or you said you had this Jamaican background? So tell me more about that. So where did you grow up? What kind of shaped that for you?
Okay. So I was born in Jamaica, West Indies, in two parishes. The Jamaicans who are listening will understand. See, America has 52 states, correct? We have 14 parishes. So the comparison. My mom is from Portland and my dad is from St. Catherine.
Got it.
So I
So
grew up in two parishes in Jamaica. Growing up in the country, I'm what you call a country gal.
a West Indies country girl. That is, I'm blown away by
Country,
this.
country, country. My
You're educating me here. I'm so interested.
country, I mean, country, country. My grandmother's place, we had 17 acres of land.
Wow.
Yes, we plant everything that we ate: banana, yam, breadfruit, sugar cane, mangoes, all the fruits that you see, and nutmeg, chocolate, coffee. We had a few goats and pigs, and we sell those. I would go to another state so I didn't go to school much. Some Thursday and Friday, I was in another state selling the produce that we make.
So you're an entrepreneur at a young age.
Very. I tell you a quick story. I go to
Yeah.
my high school is like 15 miles away. I was an athlete. I did track and field. But to support myself in high school, I would go early to the bushes to pick up mangoes. The bus, if it does come, pass by where I have to walk a mile to get the bus, 5:30 a.m. So I would pick up mangoes early before that with a bottle torch for light and pick up those mangoes and take it to school to sell. They call me monkey hustler. So I don't know if that was good or bad, but I was hustling.
No, that's listen. You're a hustler. It doesn't matter. Listen, people can
Listen,
call
I'm
me whatever they
selling.
want. Insurance agent, broker, owner, whatever, dry cleaning guy. I don't care. But always know that I'm hustling. I'm never stopping. There is never a time where I'm sitting down and just enjoying one singular event. I am doing 300 things, and that's the difference between people like us who are hustling.
Yes, yes. So I sell mangoes in high school. I
That's
remember
awesome.
one day we were going to school and the bus break down. So we were at this big area where all the children congregate. And we were there
Mhm.
for hours and I'm like, how can I make some money? How can I make some
Raking it
money?
in with
How can I
mango.
make some money? How can I? No, I went to a store that I used to work for in the summer and I said to them, my name is good because I work with them. I said, would you mind giving me a bag of candy and I will sell it and pay you back? They trust me. They know my family. If I do anything wrong, see, I grew up in the days where if you do something wrong, the neighbors could beat you. At 15, and I
Yeah, no,
went
I
into a
get you.
store and he gave me the bag of candy. And before the bus finally came, maybe 2 hours later, I sold a bag of candy to all the school children that were there, run back into the store, use that money, and buy two or three more bags. Within weeks, I had so many people selling candies for me in my school. I went to the teacher's lounge, I think it's called,
Candy
and
dealer
was
now.
selling them candies, even though we're not supposed to sell candies, but I am the dealer. So I was always selling, but one of the best things with that money is that money would use to go back to buy food for the family, the 10 grandchildren with my grandmother. And I remember it was Valentine's and I bought a plastic rose for my grandmother. But it smelled and I felt so good that I could buy a rose for Valentine's for that same grandmother that I'm talking to you about. So
Really?
I was always, and I had a savings account at the post office then. It wasn't the bank, it was the post office. When I'm leaving school, I would take that money and take it to the post office where I opened a bank account. and put my money there.
Wow. So I mean, so you've been an entrepreneur, a hustler since you were young, and I love that. I was in the same thing. I used to go to Costco, pick up a big box of candy, and then go to the school and sell it. That was my entrepreneurial mindset
See?
thing.
Yes.
But I think that's funny that some of us, that's how we've started. It was in school trying to make up a couple dollars here and there to make it make sense to help the family. And
Hmm.
it just happened to be, it sounds like, and it's funny, this may be one of those things where I ask all my future podcast people who come on if they've ever sold candy in school, because this is not the first, second, or third time I've heard this. So there must be some
I'm glad.
correlation between selling candy and becoming an entrepreneur in the future. Maybe there's some weird correlation here that I did not know about until now. So you're living between two different states or parishes. You're selling candy, you're selling mangoes, you're doing all this fun stuff. You're helping provide for the family. So what made you make the leap from leaving 17 acres in the West Indies, which sounds absolutely beautiful to me? What made you make the change to come stateside and start working here and getting your life situated here in the US?
You for asking that. So when I left St. Catherine was when I graduated from high school in 1992 and went to live in the city. And I was living in the city. I started to, again, continue, I would say, with being an entrepreneur by my dad was living in St. Catherine on the 17 acres of land, and he's a good farmer. You could say he has a green thumb while I have a brown thumb. So I would buy stuff and take back to the country for him to grow for me. And I would buy also chickens, baby chicks for him to raise, and for eggs and goats and pigs and all of that. So while he was doing that, I still wanted a better life in Jamaica. I could not quite get it together. It's just, I needed a manager, I guess. I was just doing it to get by, but I wasn't really seeing, I wasn't making it, just to say. I wasn't seeing the return on my investment. So I
Which is
wanted to
fair.
come to America. Yeah. So I wanted a better life for myself. My dad has 27 of us, and my mom has five of us. I'm the first one in my family to get married, the first one to go to high school, and the first one to get married.
Wow.
Now, as the breadwinner, no, I am the one that everyone looks to, both on my mother's side and kind of from my father too. So it means if I come to America, I can help my family. If I have a better life, then they would. So how did I come here? There's a program in Jamaica, used to be, where the government of Jamaica would have contracts with these hotels. So I did come on a work program to Dallas at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Dallas. I came up
Okay.
as a dishwasher. So for me to get on that program, the hustler came out of me. They keep coming every year and picking all these people, and I believe I'm qualified, but they never chose me. So I went to the gentleman who's in charge of the event and I said, listen, how can I be chosen? He said, listen, this is what you do. I was working at a bakery at the same time and selling buns. Oh, I was selling buns in high school from a bakery. They would give me all these buns to sell for Easter. Give it to me up front and I'll give them the money later. So I went to the bakery and he said, you need to give them something. The company was in Miami. So I brought them some Easter buns. It was during Easter. And I said, listen, give this to them for me. And that got me on the list to come here. But
Interesting. Very
ooh. Listen, my family's depending on me. So anyway, at the time I was engaged in Jamaica, my fiance at the time had filed my fiance visa, but the work papers came through before. So I
okay.
went to Dallas and was working there. And so we got married and that's how I came to America. I was in New York first, from Dallas to New York. So I came here for a better life. And I like to say, as a Christian, we don't talk about luck, but I am the most blessed immigrant to say, God bless America. The things that He have afforded for me in this country, would not have gotten it back home. And that is the truth. It has afforded my family a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So I'm the most blessed immigrant in this country for the better life that you're talking about. So I came to these shores for a better life for me and for my family.
That's amazing. And that's the dream, right? And I think that's the one thing, and it's amazing to hear you say that, because there's a lot of people today that feel like that dream is gone. They feel like they can't, and maybe it's the media, maybe it's the generational mindset. They feel like that opportunity doesn't exist, and you are the living, breathing embodiment of somebody who was selling mangoes and candy, who decided to come here and find your passion and put it to good use and find your uh, your groove. And that's amazing. And I think it's something that people should really see and emulate, that there's somebody here who did it. You took the leap. You made the jump. And I'm sure it wasn't easy. And I'd love to know more about, the struggles. I mean, New York is a tough city to live in. I lived there for
It
a lot of
is.
my life. So,
Yes.
there's a lot of struggles of just being an employee, never mind a business owner. So when you got to New York and you're here in this big metropolis of concrete and steel, obviously not 17 acres in the West Indies, any way, shape, or form. What was your first mindset when you got there? What did you think about it?
I was actually really happy because while in Jamaica, I need to back up a bit. The same cable program that you see here, we have it in Jamaica. So I was home one day and I'm watching television and I saw this advertisement for the New York Restaurant School. And I'm like, wow, if I could go to that school one day. But no, God isn't going to do that for me. That's in America. I'm in Jamaica and I'm never going to fly in a plane. This is me. If what God wanted me to fly, He would have given me wings. So I'm not going to America. But at the time, I was engaged. And so my ex husband called me and he talked to me and I said, honey, can you call this place? Here's the number and here's the address. Could you do a two-way connection? No, I really didn't know if there was a two-way connection, but he's in America. It's the land of milk and honey. Anything can happen. I was so naive. But he did it. He was working at 42nd Street. He did it. And he connected me to the Art Institute of New York City. And I talked to them. And when they told me how much it cost to get into school, I'm like, that's never going to happen. So when I did came to America, you know where I went? 25 Barrack Street, 15th floor, where the school was. And that's the school I went to to become a chef.
That's amazing. So you became, and what was the name of the school that you went to?
It was first the New York Restaurant School, and then the name changed to the Art Institute of New York City. That's where I went to school, and I told them my story. I was on MTV, even though I didn't see it, but they interviewed me on MTV and asked me about my journey. But anyway, when I came here, it was a shock for me. I went stop at the bus stop and I'm saying hi to people and they look at me like, what does she want? I'm like, don't you say hello, good morning to people at the bus stop? Until I learned they think you want something.
That's exactly right. They think you want a dollar or you want something to eat or something like that. That's got to be a big cultural difference than saying hi to, I'm sure, like you said, it was very close. So you had all these neighbors in Jamaica where everybody knew each other, right? Versus coming
And
to a city where you say hi to somebody and they went, "What do you want, lady?" I'm sure that was the reaction, was that face of New York, right? What do
yes,
you
I was on Eastern Parkway and Bedford Avenue in Brooklyn, and I was walking to the bus stop, and I saw someone morning. Good morning. How are you, ma'am or sir? And she actually pulled back when I said that, and I thought I did something wrong,
you said
you
hello.
know. I thought I was being polite because in Jamaica you don't do that. You see, and coming from the country with my mentality, you say everyone knows everyone. I was just out there. For me, that was out there. But you know what God did? The house that we lived in, owned by a Jamaican, an older Jamaican lady. It was a Jamaican family that I lived in New York. So it kind of helped. They kind of schooled me and said, then Dahlia, this is it. This is the way it is out there. It's a different culture, and you got to understand. So it was easy for me to pivot and get in. It's kind of easy for me at that time. I don't know if it's still the same, but it was easy for me to adjust. And it was exciting and it was new. And I see opportunities. I saw opportunities not to take, but to receive and give back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's amazing you had somebody who can help you, who understood what you were going through. They actually went through it, right? That's why you have Little Italy. That's why you have Chinatown. You know, all of these places in New York where people who immigrant over, you want to feel like you understand the people you're with, right? And that's not a bad thing. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that. You have the
Yes.
Hasidic community in Brooklyn. You have all these little pockets and pieces. It's what makes New York such a melting pot, is you can go and try something that's totally out of your norm or comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have
Mm-hmm.
a place where you can go home and say, hey, I have a place where people understand why I act the way I act or speak the way I speak, or the same cultural ideals. It's great though. I'm happy you went somewhere like that and not somewhere where it's really the American country where you wouldn't have had the same support system, because I'm sure it really did provide value to you in the long term, and make you feel comfortable with what you're doing and not crazy that you smiled and said hello to people and they ran away from you kind of thing.
Run, she's coming, she's smiling, and
She's
that's
going to say
me.
hi to us. Oh my gosh, watch out. Evil. Evil.
Oh, my bad.
So you're in New York. You go to you said the culinary school.
Hmm.
What did you do with the degree? So you obviously passed. You do a great job. So whether or not I don't know, but I would assume it because it's great food, guys. Just for the record. So when you got through that, what was your first thing out the door? What did you want to do with yourself? You had this wide-eyed, bushy-tailed city ready to just jump into the one of the largest culinary locations next to maybe California and Paris. What'd you do?
So after I graduated from culinary school, I was hired by Anthony Sigiano. He's the executive chef at the Breakers Hotel. He's in charge. I don't know if he still is because that was so long ago. He's in charge of all the chefs at the time. And he came to my school. I think it was 87 of us that graduated that year. I graduated top of my class, and he hired me.
Wow.
He hired me,
Okay.
and I moved to Florida, and
How
I
was that
worked.
transition from New York to Florida? Especially, it was a while ago. It's not like it is nowadays. New York and Florida is not much of a big difference anymore because there's a lot of us New Yorkers down here. But
Yeah, we came.
we
We
came,
came. We
apparently.
came. So what happened is this is what was I was annoyed in the beginning. My God, these Florida people are very slow. Let's go, let's go, let's go. You
Yep.
then they said you New Yorkers are rude. I said, see, I got into it. No, we're not rude. We just know what we want. We stop and we say hi, but get out of my way. And on the street when they're driving, I'm like, unk, 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 until I finally get it. Dahlia, relax. This is Florida. This is like island time, man. That was my first, in my arrogance, I had a chip in
Yeah.
my shoulder. I'm a New Yorker, you know what I mean? So,
You expect people to get the job done, get it done now. Urgency. What are you waiting for? Why aren't we doing it right now? You don't have 10 jobs. We all have 10 jobs. Where's your 10 jobs, right?
so anyway, coming to Florida was like a shock, but a lot of it too is the same as the weather. It's like Jamaica. It's the same kind of thing like Jamaica with the weather, the heat, and all of that. One of the things that I was disappointed about in Brooklyn on Flatbush Avenue, I could get mangoes. I could just go to a fruit stand and see fresh fruits. But here, there were no fruit stands that I could see. I have to go to the supermarket, and I always wonder, huh, it's tropical. Why isn't it the same? But I just didn't understand. So that was just in my ignorance. I've come to accept it. I love, love, love Florida. It's so different now from New York. I haven't been back. I got to learn a lot and to hone in my skill. Working at the Breakers Hotel as a chef is huge for me. From working in the back of the house when he hired me, had my own station. Mr. Leone, I think he is, I forgot what would you call him. For lack of a better word, he runs the Breakers. He's the top guy at the Breakers. I had my own station, and he would come down the days when I had my own station, and he would eat from my station. I'd make him something special. And then I wanted to see more instead of just the back of the house as a chef. I wanted to see the front of the house, what happened, because I did graduate with an associate degree in culinary arts and restaurant management. So I wanted to see what happened. And if you've been to the Breakers Hotel, it's a fantastic place, what they do with the rooms, the scenes that they bring in, and the type of clientele. So I stopped working in the back of the house and become a banquet server to see more. Well, yes.
And how was it? So the Breakers, for a lot of people that may not know this, or at least the Palm Beach people will know it, it's a massive, absolutely beautiful hotel. Someone's mansion at one point. I don't know the entire story, but it is the place. It is the hotel, and hotel it does, but it's the place to stay here in the Palm Beaches, or have
Yes.
a great event, or
Hmm.
just go there for coffee. There's 100 reasons to go to the Breakers. To be able to be a part of something like that, that must have been. I mean, I'd be so prideful of that to be able to say I'm a part of something so big, so wonderful, so mass. How was it working there? How was the environment? Did you like it? Were the people fun? Was the clients and staff great? Like, what was your experience there?
I had mostly great experience with the staff, just, with chefs. Chefs are very prideful, some of them. So I work in certain restaurants when I was at the back of the house, and it was a little slap on the wrist for me. I guess, again, move it, move it, move it. Don't care about what the person is thinking. It's just the end result that you want. But I would say overall, it was a really good experience. And there, remember I told you about the program that I came into to this country in?
Yep.
The Breakers has the same program. So I
Oh,
met a lot of Jamaicans there. Yes. I
Okay.
don't know if they still do, but they had. So I'm saying I had because it's so long ago. So they had the same program there. So actually, I learned so much there because you're in school, you're learning a lot of, you're doing a lot in the kitchen in a controlled environment. But let's see you put that to work. Let's see you put that in the real world. My palate was open to new things. I get to see so much that I can do or I never knew. You're in school. In school, I learned the basic, the foundations, the fundamentals. I learned more, but I learned the fundamentals that I can build on, that I can build on. And at the Breakers, I was able to build on that and learn from other chefs, learn from not just the bakers, the bakery shop, or just the banquet kitchen, or while working in Escalier on an omelette station on Sunday mornings, or the seafood bar, or Breakers West. I learned from everyone that I came in connection with. I learned, they taught me a lot.
I can imagine. I mean, you had to have had such a plethora of different, like you said, different people because of these programs, different cultures, different people doing different things. It must have been so interesting and challenging every day because you were figuring out how to do something. I mean, I'm sure there was 17 ways to cut an onion, right? Or make an omelet. You know, that's always the joke, right? If you can't make an omelet as a chef, you can't cook, right? Because as easy as it sounds, it's not the easiest thing to make.
No, it's not the easiest thing to make.
So I'm sure that there was so many things you learned from that experience that helped you in creating Everlasting Tea Time to help you create that wonderful brand that's people first. And that's amazing to hear. It really is. It's exciting. So
Yes.
so with the Breakers, you stayed there. Now, did you go right from the Breakers to building Everlasting Tea Time? How did that work?
No, one thing I learned of the Breakers too, dealing with so many personality, you
Hmm.
learn how to deal with people, how to treat people. So I bring that over in Everlasting Tea Time because we're dealing with personalities,
Yep.
you know. So you ask if I left, if it was right from the Breakers to Everlasting Tea Time. No, I went back to New York. I went through a divorce. I went through a divorce. I went back to New York, left my son with his dad. That was very hard. But again, I needed to take care of myself, take care of my son. I went back to New York. By that time, I had gone back to school to become a patient care technician. That's the other job that I love to do. I love to draw blood. And so I went to New York to work at New York Downtown Hospital, which I worked for 7 years in the ICU and the ER and med surge department.
Interesting. So, what made you, was it the, not to get too far into it, but was it just going up there for the divorce that made you want to jump into that? Or what was the, I guess, the change for you?
The change for me, while during the last year in Florida before I moved back to Florida, it's season. As a server, it's very seasonal. For a
Mhm.
few months, anyone in Florida know that it's seasonal. For a few months,
Oh,
you make
yes.
money, and the rest of the year, you have nothing at all. So, looking ahead, I have a young son that I had to take care of, and still my responsibilities in Jamaica. I had to find another way to make money, and it was just me. So decided to go back to school to become a home health aide. While going to school, my mom friend who is a nurse lived in New York, and she said, "Why don't you do this course, patient care technician?" So I did the course at the same time. Couldn't pay for it actually because I was moving. I swapped. I gave the things that I had in my apartment to the teacher, and he gave me the classes. That's how I paid for the rest of my class to become a patient care technician. Or I would cook food and take it there, and then I wouldn't have to pay for the course. So that's why I went into that because I needed something. If I'm not going to stay in Florida, I can't make any money since I'm now a server. I just need a change. When you're divorced, I needed a change. I thought running away, that would have been it. So I did what I have to do, went back to New York. I went back for that job and did not get it until like 4 months later.
Really?
Yeah, that was a struggle.
Wow. So, I guess in between that, what were you doing in between? Let me ask you that.
In between that, gosh, there are times I was sleeping in my car.
Oh my gosh.
I was staying with this lady, and I could not go into the apartment until she was there. While she's at work, I would leave work early in the morning, and I had to stay in my car and sleep under some tree. I remember one morning I was at the cross in the light, and I fell asleep, and I didn't put my car in park. And I wake up to the sounds of horns blaring. And I'm running down to traffic, running down in traffic. I woke up right in time.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Um, I tried so many things to make money. I started selling phone cards, started selling, continued to sell Mary Kay, Avon, whatever I could do to make ends meet. I would do that. Whatever it is to make ends meet, I would do it. And it was difficult at times.
I can imagine. I mean, it's not easy now, and I can only imagine back then. I mean, see, and this is why I tell people, you talk to somebody, you get to hear their story, and there's so much more to people. And we only really have an hour, and I can only imagine if we were to continue to dive even deeper into all the stuff that we've been talking about. I can imagine all the amazing things that you've done. That kind of given you who you are. And the reason why you are the way you are. And I think it's amazing that our viewers get to kind of see a little bit more about who you are, where the love for your food comes from, and why. From, again, I can't, 17 acres in the West Indies sounds wonderful. My wife is going to see this and go, oh my gosh, when are we moving there? From that to where you are today, must feel like an amazing journey for you. I can only imagine.
Thank you. To answer your question, when did I start back at when did I start Everlasting Tea Time? Is when I moved back to Florida about 9 years ago, started working at the Chesterfield and met my wonderful husband and partner, Tony Armour. That's when I started Everlasting Tea Time. And it has been an amazing journey. And to tell you the truth, I don't know if I would change much about my past because that is history, is what is now moving forward.
Yeah, and without it, it wouldn't have created you to be where you are today with a wonderful business, with a wonderful husband. Tony's great. Everybody who doesn't know him should get to know him, and put you on this wonderful trajectory that you're on. One
Yeah.
thing I like to ask, and I'm not sure if you took a sneak peek though. One thing I like to ask all of the people who come on the podcast, and it's a two-part question. One question, two parts to it, is if you could meet anybody in the world, dead or alive, doesn't matter who it is, who would you want to speak to? And if you got to ask them one question, what question would you ask them?
Thank you. Dead first. The first person that jumped to mind is Mahalia Jackson.
Okay,
I don't know if the listeners know who is Mahalia Jackson.
tell us.
She's a gospel singer, or please forgive me, Negro spiritual, I think.
Okay.
She sings about pain. When I couldn't speak, I get it from her songs. Her songs encourage me. There's one thing I've had, even with my life in Jamaica, I had someone, gospel singers, who could always speak for me, sing for me. Like with David, it would be another podcast, with David, King David, there are times when I couldn't find words and I didn't understand what it means. I grew up in the church. But David, King David said it for me. When I didn't have words, I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm looking. So singing helps me. I sing a lot. They could call me the singing chef.
That would be an interesting one. Yeah, that's one way to make a memory. And thank you for sharing that, because I ask people this question, and I always say, who is that person you would, talk to or speak with? And, I guess one thing I'd ask is what question would you ask if you had an opportunity to talk to her then?
Mahalia, what were you going through when you write, when you sing those songs?
Good
Because it
question.
looked like you did them for me. Because that's exactly, how I'm telling you, the words just say they come right on time, right in time. And King David, the same way. I was listening to a pastor talking about Psalms 6. I had to read the Bible. My grandmother made sure I read the Bible. We all have a Psalms for dead people and live people. Go figure. And I was the one who had to read it. I couldn't read growing up, but that's how I learned to read it, by reading the Bible. And so if I could ask King David, I'm like, King David, I don't even know if it was a question. It's like, thank you for writing those Psalms. Psalm 6, Psalms 8, Psalms 1, Psalms 23, 27, 35. Thank you. Thank you so much. I named my son David.
Wow, and that's why. Well, that's amazing. See, and that's the point. A lot of people, and we have a lot of people who come on the podcast have faith, and specifically in the Bible and in the Christian faith, and they talk about this stuff, and they talk about how it's helped them as business owners throughout their time, right? Because being a business owner isn't necessarily just about the business; it's the personal stuff that you're going through on a day to day that helps shape that business, shape that culture that you're building. And I mean, I'm amazed by your story, and I hope every listener who has an opportunity to hear it will comment or message you or talk more about it. And I hope the young ladies who may be on here who are hearing this, if they listen to it, don't listen to me, listen to the person that's, we're talking to right now. Hear the amazing story, the grit, the determination, the resilience that Dahlia has had to be successful, to push herself outside her comfort zone and see that you can make memories one bite at a time or singing
You
one
got
song at
it.
a time.
Rudy, can I give an invitation? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
please do.
Thank you. So the last Saturday of each month at my home, I host a breakfast and women's Bible study. The last Saturday of the month. The only thing you need to do is let me know by Thursday how many people are coming, so I have enough meal, food, and enough chairs. It's my apart. It's my home.
Yeah, no, of course, please. And then let's do this. Let's put a plug in there. So when it comes to Everlasting Tea Time, how can people learn about you, find your food, find your services? Is it Instagram, Facebook, email, phone number? Give us the plug. How do they find you?
All of the above. Everlasting, you find me on the internet at everlastingteatime.com
Okay.
or meetchefdahlia.com. That will take you straight to my calendar link that we can have a conversation to create a memorable experience for you. I'm also on Facebook. You can look for Chef Dahlia, Dahlia Armor. I am on social media. I'm all over the place. You can ask Rudy. And my phone number is area code 347-458-0885.
That's amazing. Perfect. Great. And what we'll do is we'll make sure we put that out there as well for everybody when we go to tag you and put you all together. Dahlia, I really appreciate you taking the time to share all your experiences, all the trials, the tribulations, and all the resilience that you've had over the years. It's amazing to see. It's exciting. I hope it invigorates every person on here who decides to listen to this to see that it's not about how easy it's going to be. It's about the determination and drive that you have during the journey. And you can make it happen. You just have
Yes.
to work hard.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much, Rudy, for this opportunity. You're doing a great, great job. This is my first podcast, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. God bless you and the work that you're doing, and for paving the way for other people to come along and to showcase themselves and to get out there. Thank you so much to you and your team. You're doing a fantastic job.
Thanks, Dahlia. Well, till we see you next time and hopefully get to have you back on the podcast again.
Yes, sir. God bless you.
God bless.